Okay, well, thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Amber Steele, and I'm the Geological Survey Program Director for the Missouri Geological Survey, which is a division of the Missouri Department of Natural Resources. So it's my pleasure today to share with you some of the exciting things that we are doing in the critical mineral space at our survey. So to start off, for a little background, just wanted to take a moment to explain what it is that a state geological survey is and how we are unique. Historically, many state geological surveys began in the 1800s as states were formed. Surveys were charged with the discovery of energy, mineral, land, and water resources for their state. And now most function as a source for government and society with some information source, with some having some regulatory functions, as ours does. Each survey across the country is unique in size and in how they're structured. Some are based in academia, some are more agency-based like we are. State surveys, like one of the most important things to understand about a state survey is that we have the ability to bend and flex as societal needs and priorities shift, while still providing reliable, up-to-date, and unbiased scientific information. So the Missouri Geological Survey, which started in 1853, is no exception to that. In taking a closer look at how our metallic minerals program has evolved over time, it's noteworthy that in a state which consistently ranks in the top 10 for lead production, when I started with the survey about a decade ago, we had less than 2 full-time employees working on our minerals program. So that shift from a survey that focused deeply on critical minerals or metallic minerals to new priorities was a huge shift. So those other priorities, as you all know, it was just a microcosm of what was happening across the country. So over the last several decades up till now, as this group knows well, mining and post-processing operations moved abroad. Without that national emphasis on exploration and domestic mineral development and processing, our collective institutional knowledge on these topics also declined. As this audience is also well aware, once these concepts are not being used, they too decline. So ultimately, our survey was very fortunate to have retention in our workforce. So some of you may know Dr. Cheryl Seeger. So hopefully you get to know her through this workshop. She's been very consistent presence for our survey, and we've been very fortunate to have that. But with limited funding, that team was simply maintaining. Things started to change around 2019 as USGS's Earth Mapping Resource Initiative was getting off the ground, and Missouri was deemed an area that was highly prospective for a wide variety of potential critical minerals, including cobalt. Missouri is uniquely positioned in the mid-continent of the US, which is considered a frontier region for critical mineral potential due to the presence of igneous host terrain. And as I mentioned, we're one of the top 10 for mineral production. And in addition, we host 30 of the 50 critical minerals on the USGS list. With new funding and energy through these programs, our survey began to grow and become more involved in new projects and collaborative efforts to better understand our critical mineral resources. So fast forward to now, we've seen a tremendous shift in our survey as we move the focus back to our minerals program. With increases in federal funding and state resources to develop this program, we now have almost tripled our team, and we're continuing to work hard to build back our minerals program and our knowledge base. So I'm going to explain to you a little bit about how we've done that and how that's happened over the last few years. So since the inception in 2019 of programs like USGS's Earth Mapping Resources Initiative, Department of Energy's Core CM project, our survey has received over $5 million in federal and state resources to complete projects such as mapping, geochemical reconnaissance surveys, mine waste inventory and characterization, and to purchase new analytical equipment, exponentially expanding our capabilities. We've been able to partner with USGS, adjacent state surveys, tribal nations, and academia, including the Missouri University of Science and Technology. Industries such as Caldera Holding, Doe Run Company, New Frontier Materials to gain access for mine waste areas to do sampling. These projects are helping us to achieve our goals for growing our minerals program sooner than we ever could have imagined. So I wanted to explain a little bit about our approach, building back these capacities. We were fortunate to be at the forefront of discussions with USGS as they started to implement their Earth MRI project. Ultimately, the implementation followed a mineral system framework that Jamie explained earlier, with 3 parts of the stool that are very important. So geophysics, geochemistry, and geologic mapping. In Missouri, we use high-resolution geophysics conducted by our USGS partners to see past the vegetation and sedimentary rocks. Geochemistry, also supported by federal partners, including USGS, Department of Energy, U.S. Forest Service, in traditional surface and subsurface rocks, as well as now mine waste, to create a full picture of the minerals and materials that are present. And then to tie it all together, geologic mapping, also supported in part through USGS and state support, helping to identify areas of promising mineral exploration. So to break it down even further, geophysics, our USGS geophysical scientists have helped us support us by providing a baseline for our critical mineral studies by formulating very well thought out geophysical surveys. So they were very thoughtful in their approach. It wasn't piecemeal. It was, let's start here and then go to the next spot and then go to the next spot. And that's evidenced by the map that you see here. So most of the state is now complete, and by the time our geophysical surveys are done, over 85% of the state will have new modern geophysics. This all started back in 2014 with a tiny area, 8,600 acres. We're also working on the hyperspectral surveys that Jamie spoke of earlier on sites near P Ridge and in the Old Lead Belt for our mine waste project. So we're excited for this new information. On the geochemistry front, as you know, geochemical data is an important piece to understand the distribution of critical minerals and for creating models. Our team has participated in a number of projects providing regional reconnaissance level geochemistry assessments throughout the state, including Pennsylvanian age black shales, Ordovician age phosphates, areas in the tri-state district, coal and coal wastes products. And like I said earlier, these projects have been supported by Department of Energy, USGS, and USDA Forest Service. Additional projects that we're focusing on now focus on mine waste. So through new mine waste inventory funding that started back in 2023, we started with an inventory of the state, and now we've branched out to various characterization projects. So we have projects right now at Caldera Holdings P Ridge Mine, and are getting started at Doe Run Company's Old Lead Belt chat piles, and we've just been notified of a new project on New Frontier Materials Iron Mountain Mine. So we're very excited and thankful to those industries for helping us gain access to those sites. Finally, our geologic mapping projects are supported through Earth MRI funding and include the geochemical analyses and consideration of the geophysical data. So once complete, these projects will cover nearly 500 square miles in areas of interest for critical mineral potential in Missouri. These projects are a little bit more complex as they involve factoring in the geochemistry data and the geophysical data, and this is a very geologically complex part of the state, but we are making progress on this front. So next, I'd like to tell you about one of our secret weapons in building back our minerals program. We have a rock core facility that some of you will get to see if you come on the field trip on Friday. The McCracken Core Library and Research Center is a repository for nearly 8 million feet of subsurface material, rock core and cuttings. It houses core from more than 3,300 drill holes and cuttings from more than 15,000 drill holes from locations all across Missouri. It's one of the largest collections in the nation. We provide examination and sampling of the subsurface geologic materials for interested individuals, industry, academia, basically anyone who wants to come and look at our core and log it. It's really been a resource for our geologists as we've tried to build back this minerals program. Finally, through funding from our Missouri legislature, we are going to be starting some contract drilling work across the state. All of this core will be housed at the McCracken Core Library. It will be photographed as part of one of our new projects through USGS data preservation funding and analyzed through our new multi-sensor core scanner that I'll talk about in just a moment. So we're getting high quality data from that core. And one of the things that we're also excited about is New legislative funding that we received, which has allowed for land acquisition between our Rolla campus and Missouri S&T that will someday be home to a new core storage facility. Finally, we've been very fortunate to build out our minerals program with new analytical equipment. This new equipment will allow for fast and easy scanning and analysis of surface, subsurface, and mine waste samples. So through fiscal year 24 legislative funding, we were able to purchase a benchtop X-ray fluorescence scanner that allows for analysis of nearly a full suite of elements in our rock samples. We have purchased a multi-sensor core scanner that I mentioned earlier that is housed at our McCracken core library that can scan core in the box for a variety of purposes, including mineralogy, element composition, and has various camera functions. We've also worked collaboratively with Missouri S&T on a core scanner that they purchased that we are housing on our Rolla campus in our rock lab that will have even further capabilities once it is installed later this month. Finally, we've recently obtained, through in part funding from USGS, a thin section scanner that will scan our thin sections, allowing them to be publicly accessible online and available for non-destructive analyses. So finally, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the various partners that we have listed here. None of this would have been possible without these great relationships and collaborative efforts across all spaces, including government, academia, industry. And for us, this list just continues to grow. So all of this new funding has been very exciting. We've had a lot of work. Our team has been working all the time, super hard on all of these projects, but we're starting to, I think, see the light at the end of the tunnel as far as that goes, and things are starting to stabilize a bit. So we're in the process now for what the future holds for us is contemplating, the best and most thoughtful ways to ensure that our data follows fair principles of findability, accessibility, interoperability, and reuse. We're working with IT and GIS partners across the state to come up with the best practices on how to do this, and looking out to other state geological surveys for ideas so that we're not just working in a vacuum. If you're not already familiar, we boast an ArcGIS hub with a lot of online geologic resources like GeoStrat and maps, and we plan to build out some of that hub by using new products like the ArcGIS Experience Builder. A lot of this data, as Jamie mentioned earlier, is available through USGS on various sites like ScienceBase and the National Index of Borehole Information, or NIBI. And as always, we offer kind of a la carte services or derivative products upon request, so we can pull together data and information around a certain area or need. All right, so in summary, our team and our projects are expanding, and we are seeing a return to building back the knowledge base of previous decades for our minerals program like we had previously. So we're very excited for that. So I just want to thank you all for your time and attention this afternoon. I can take questions if needed.